Okay, the White Empire Colin Jost Cringe Roast, also known as the White House Correspondents' Dinner of 2024. Now, my wife loves Colin Jost, so when she walked into the room, she insisted we watch his whole routine. Now, I was about to turn it off for reasons I'll explain below. Anyway, if I can watch it once, I can watch it again, so I'm going to comment. Like Colin Jost, I grew up in Staten Island, but we're separated by 21 years. I believe most Staten Islanders share a similar view on race. We're all racist jerks, but we can get along. And as he points out, most Staten Islanders are Trump supporters. What I'm saying is I believe Jost is respectful to blacks, which is why he is such a convenient buffer to people like Biden, who believe their own BS when they say they aren't racists. I believe, but have no proof, that if Colin Jost had a choice, as a Staten Islander, he would have had Michael Che next to him. That may be wishful thinking. I don't know.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Colin Jost, and I'll be delivering the Republican response. I'll be honest with you, I don't have a lot of time. I need to get back to New York because I'm juror number 5 on a big trial. Trump's lawyer took one look at me, and he's like, he's got to be on our side.
Why would he be on their side? Because he's white? What else about Colin Jost's appearance makes him look like a Republican or Trump supporter? I must be blind to it. Let me know in the comments. So if it's because he's white, I want to understand. Are any of Trump's cases about racism? No, not a single one. Trump may be a racist, but it will have nothing to do with any of his court cases. So what Jost is effectively doing here is insinuating Trump and his legal team are racist and believe all whites would give them a fairer consideration. Unless, again, you see something in Colin Jost's appearance that would make them think, that he's on their side. Anyway, the joke is one white man calling another white man a racist. So, anyway, moving on.
I was excited to be up here on stage with President Biden tonight, mostly to see if I could figure out where Obama was pulling the strings from.
This is the first of many cringe jokes that Jost tells. Why? Because we all understand that it's ludicrous that Obama can control anyone, but it opens the door to a very dark room in the audience psyche. In fact, through the whole, his whole routine, you can just feel it in the audience, the unspoken, unspoken knowledge of what's going on in a larger global picture. But anyway, the dark room in the audience psyche is there are people pulling Biden's strings. Biden is a useful idiot to every guy with money in his pocket and a plan to exploit others to get more of it, like the Zionists, who have been paying Biden for decades. Biden is everything Kamala Harris said he was during their debate. Okay.
But before I begin tonight, can we just acknowledge how refreshing it is to see a president of the United States at an event that doesn't begin with a bailiff saying, "All rise."
Now, one of these political party hatchet jokes would be okay. However, there are many. In fact, anyway, as an independent, I find them very distasteful. But if you're going to do jokes about it, about a political party, you're supposed to do jokes about the party in power at the White House, not the other party. To do jokes about the other party who's not in power in the White House, that's free propaganda for those in power.
My Weekend Update co-anchor, Michael Che, was going to join me here tonight, but in solidarity with President Biden, I decided to lose all my black support.
Okay, let's get into the meat of it. Now, this is an interesting joke because it's true, but then
Che told me to say that, and I'm just realizing I was set up.
Che told me to say this, and I just realized I was set up? Let's parse that. Why does Che have to speak through Colin Jost? Why can't Che stand on the same stage and speak for himself? Why does Jost pretend to give Che the power to set him up, but not the agency to stand on that stage? Now, I've always thought that the SNL conceit of Jost getting set up by Michael Che during every weekend update nauseating. The shtick is that Jost would say racist things, but joke that Che tricked him into saying them. The understanding between Jost, Che, and the audience is that no one is racist in the room. They all make fun of that fact that it's true because they can joke about it. How do we know they can joke about it? Because a black is joking about it too. Do most blacks find it funny? I don't know. I'm not black. I can't speak for them, and Che can't speak freely on the stage of the White House Correspondents' dinner. Now, if I was black, I wouldn't vote for Biden. The joke is not a joke, it's true. Now, racism is last on my list about why I won't vote for Biden. But since Jost brought it up, I'll comment. If you know Colin Jost, you know he co-hosts a segment of SNL called Weekend Update. Until the White House Correspondents' Dinner, then it's just Colin Jost. Before I continue, let me say that most brown people who read me on Medium would say that I defend white empire, that I push back on anyone's claim that we live in a world by white racists. But in this case, I have to do the humana. This is a story Mehdi Hasan could have done. Why the white comedian and not the black? Why the Harvard-educated boy and not the one who probably couldn't afford college? Mehdi, there's a story. Go get it. On the other hand, I would argue there's no racism here. Or the story Mehdi would need to report is difficult to tell without getting sucked into the discrimination story narrative. The problem to me isn't discrimination towards brown people. The problem, the root problem, is elitism. If Michael Che went to Harvard and his co-host was Pete Davidson, Michael Che would be the one speaking. What I'm saying is that what Jost is really doing here is giving elites cover. The first cover is to blame everything on Trump and the lunatics in the Republican Party. Their second line of defense is to blame everything on racism. But they can never get that cover from an independent brown person. They could do it if they knew he was firmly in the elite's view of things. If Che went to an Ivy League college, for example, and is of less than African descent, and they had to choose between him and Pete Davidson, they would choose him. Anyway, Mehdi Hasan attended Oxford. He's part of the elite. How far will he separate himself? We shall see. Okay, why did I find the whole thing cringy? And I believe many in the audience did. Because what's really going on, in my opinion, and again, all these correspondents know it in this room, Biden does not do many interviews. The Biden administration is not really open to a lot of questions. But we can all see with our eyes something very simple. You can watch videos of cars driving around Gaza, and all these homes are destroyed. All these buildings. These are just residential buildings. Bernie Sanders has said it's 221,000 units that could fit maybe like 1 million people. So we know, as a fact, that the homes of 1 million people have been destroyed. We know, as a fact, that it was done with bombs and equipment made in America. These are facts. I'm not talking about any of the reasons why maybe they need to be blown up or whatever, just this very simple fact that 1 million people had their homes destroyed in a certain part of the world by our weapons. And not only that, after it was done, Biden sent more. That's a fact. And it's in the back of the minds of everybody in that room. So how can you make jokes at a time when you know you are part of a country that not only probably killed 32,000 and tens of thousands of women and children? I mean, that we don't know. We can't see that for sure. But we can see what happened to their homes. There's no disputing it, right? There's no getting away from it. It's not like even Israel said that that's not what happened, right? So that's number one. Number two is very recently, the police are going onto campuses and throwing, middle-aged women professors onto the ground, right? We all know this. This isn't just like one college or two colleges. This is a nation of young people that are rioting over seeing what I am saying. Like as an adult, you're like, oh yeah, well Israel said this, and Palestinians said this, and the Arabs said this, and Hamas said this, and the PLO said this, and there's all this history. They're looking at all the history. Well, young people don't know any of that. They're just looking at the video. And they're seeing what I'm saying. Hey, why is everybody's home destroyed? Why are all these women and children in this rubble? Because they must be in this rubble. Right? Israel didn't go in and go door to door and say, hey, I'm going to blow up this building. So young people are seeing it. And my read of it, and again, this is just my personal speculation, is young people realize the elites don't care whether it's, Palestinians or them. They don't care. If they get in their way, they're going to be killed. That's the new normal of our government. That's what the Biden administration represents. He represents an administration, elites, that will kill anyone or throw them to the concrete if they get out of the way. So Colin Jost, Harvard educated, is up there making jokes at a time like this. So that's why I think it's cringy. It's cringy to me. Again, I think it's cringy to a lot of people. And anyway, I just wanted to explain that aspect of it. Thanks for watching.